Hey, and welcome to today's episode. So, as promised last week, I'm going to do a little series about business and human design and kind of going over the macro levels of your design, but this time specifically through the frame of business. And I suppose I want to start with why. Why does it even matter? And ultimately, it matters because people are creating a business according to someone else's strategy. And in so many cases, the majority of cases, what that means is they are absolutely punishing themselves, forcing, pushing to run someone else's success strategy. And then when that strategy doesn't work, they immediately call themselves the failure. Oh my God, I've done something wrong. And this is the thing that I want to really open up even more here on the podcast, because we live in a time where there are billions of unique ways of doing anything. So let's call success huge generalization, but let's make that generalization that includes fulfillment, impact, living more, working less, and of course, recurring revenue. Because if we don't have revenue, we don't have a business. We've just got a hobby that we're not very good at. So at the end of the day, what I really want to bring into your awareness is that there are so many different ways to do business, and there are so many more ways to create success in your life. And what I want to talk about is, with the old paradigm way, we've focused on strategy first. What does that mean? We go external first. We look at the gurus, the experts, the, multiple 7-figure, 8-figure entrepreneurs, and then we run their strategy. We buy their strategy, we run it. And then, as I've already said, a lot of the time that strategy fails because we're not the being that's running that strategy. They got lots of success with it, sure, but we need to move to this new paradigm focus, which is all about our frequency first. So what do I mean by that? I mean that you don't build your business first and then find yourself. You actually find yourself as you build the business. So as you become more you, then you start to create more success. It's coming from a place of frequency, not a place of action, although aligned action is incredibly important. So each type kind of has this specific role that it plays in the energetic ecosystem. No one role is better or worse than another, but ultimately it's our strategy, our signature, and our not self theme that is your compass, like literally telling you this is correct for you, potentially this isn't correct for you. Now, obviously with human design and the gene keys, there are so many other places that we can look into, the specifics of how you're going to succeed, how, what you're here to do, what your purpose is, how you're designed to serve, how you learn, how you grow. There's so much in there. We could look at our incarnation cross, or we could look at our activation sequence, or even our pearl sequence in the gene keys. And there are so many ways we can look at this. But today I just want to simplify so that perhaps listeners, you, my friend, don't get too overwhelmed or confused by all the information. Because I know that that's something for me that often when I start something new, I want to consume all the information, but all that really does is create overwhelm because I don't have a clear pathway. So I want to create this clear pathway with your business, starting with type, okay? So a manifestor in business, the theme still is always initiation, because you are here as the fire starters, as the creators, the spark. It's also independence and creative bursts. So these in business, you need to create a business where you have the freedom to, work in creative bursts. What do I mean by that? I actually love the example of a guy that I used to work with in an advertising agency, who he would come in, he would work whenever we pitched on a new piece of business. He would work on the pitch. He would then do the pitch, the actual presentation. He would do all of that work. And then once that was done, whether we signed the new client or not, his role was done. So it's very manifestory, it's kind of in the initiation, the beginning, and he would work long hours, not to say that manifestors have to, but he'd be like there in the office for like 3 weeks before the pitch. And then once the pitch was done, that was it. He would just go and disappear, and who knows what he did. He'd probably lay by a pool or went skiing or surfing or something. So this is kind of the energy flow of a manifestor. The signature piece and the not self anger. These are your two indicators in business. So where you're finding peace is heading you in an aligned direction. The not self of anger is actually where you're in the mind and you're trying to force yourself to be someone you're not. So an aligned business is going to look like potentially launch-based. Solo-led movements. Often manifestors want to work alone. They work well with a support team, but often they're going to work independently of that support team. Okay, so remember, inform. Things like VIP experiences, super powerful messaging. This is really aligned for manifestors. In business, they need freedom to create without interference. They actually need a minimal but highly trusted and informed team and team of informers, if that makes sense. High communication. Also high initiative, okay? Because manifestors are not going to micromanage people. They just want a really powerful team to follow up behind them, if you like. The trap we want to be careful of as a manifestor is people-pleasing or over-explaining. Remember, you are very much here to inspire your people into action. Get out there, do your work, don't people-please, don't over-explain. Instead, be in your creative urge, out there initiating, starting the fire, and then allow that energy that you've birthed to start to ripple out. Okay, you don't have to complete the whole process. Big important point for manifestors, but you really have to allow, be wild and free. I love this statement, wild and free, in your creation, and then allow the ripple effect to happen. Okay, manifesting generators. Their theme is innovation, speed, and freedom. Again, we've got the signature of satisfaction and peace. Not self is frustration and anger. So this is an aligned business that looks like mine, a multi-offer ecosystem. So we do, we've got HDX, we've got the club, we've got in-person retreats, I've got the book, I've got the podcast. There's a lot of different ways to work with me, very MG. Quick pivots, creative freedom. Our latest retreat we just launched, it didn't even exist as an idea 2 weeks ago. So we have the freedom to sort of create and get it out into the world straight away. And funnels that let us move really fast, okay? So we need, for MGs, space to skip steps, permission to drop things that no longer feel aligned. Okay, so this doesn't look like a lot of business strategies, all the way to the end. Make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's. At the end of the day, manifesting generators are designed to skip steps, okay? And we have to know to quit in response, but give ourselves permission and not guilt when we do let go of the things that we no longer have energy for, because this is the way we're designed to move. We move fast, we grow fast, we change fast, we pivot fast, okay? The trap is overcommitting, perfectionism, and staying too long in the things that are really like you have no energy for. This is a biggie for MGs because they've been taught that they're highly capable, so they overcommit. Perfectionism is not, I was talking with the Magnetic by Design mastermind today, and I had a line 3 emotional manifesting generator. I'm like, perfectionism's got to go. It's got to go for all of us. But that, as MGs, we're here to make a mess. So you got to let that go. You got to be able to really follow what you have energy for and let go of the things that you don't, as long as you're quitting in response to something external of you. And your purpose lens, here to respond with a yes energy and move lightning fast when it's aligned. So one of the cool things in my business is, because I'm an emotional authority, sometimes things take time, but the moment I get the green light from my authority, then away we go and things happen really quickly. A friend of mine always talks about failing fast. Yep, we do that really well. Thanks, Lisa. All right, generators. So their theme is mastery, devotion, energy that builds. This is this energy of over time, like it's a pathway. I remember working with Nikki, who is amazing, this amazing consultant we worked with in the business. And as a generator, she's really like, okay, we do 90-day plans and we take this step and that step. And we're like, dude, it's too slow. It's too systemized. We can't do that. But generators love that. If you think about Yvette Mayer, that on the transits, like she focuses very tightly in on marketing. And it's something that she just grows and improves. It's this beautiful linear pathway that just gets better and better and better. So again, satisfaction and frustration are the not self themes and the signature theme. This is how you're going to know when you are in alignment, not in alignment. An aligned business has sustainable offers, recurring revenue, client journeys that deepen over time. Okay, so there is a lot of mastery in being a generator. Okay, so yes, this also applies to manifesting generators. It just looks a bit different. It looks non-linear. Sometimes it looks a bit quicker, a bit messier, and it's really not this kind of mastery, like by repetition kind of pathway. Where generators, like they build and grow on this pathway of mastery. They need a sacred yes. Their sacral has to have energy for what they're doing. They need consistency from desire, not obligation. It's got to be the thing that lights them up, not the thing that they should do. Super, super important in business. And the trap is people pleasing, initiating instead of responding, which a lot of the old school strategies get you to do, is all about initiate, take massive action. They can also get stuck in the shoulds, okay? So their purpose lens is effectively you're here to build what lights you up and your energy will magnetize the right clients. This is this responsive energy. I mean, I talk a lot about feminine business as well, like feminine energy, the feminine in business. This is really what that's all about. Know what you have energy for, respond to your external reality, and then trust that your energy is going to build this correct business, correct clients. Okay, projector. The theme is guidance, systems, vision. The signature for a projector is success. The not self is bitterness. So this is how we know when we're in alignment or out of alignment. We're in the body or we're in the head, right? So business that's aligned, things like a high touch mentorship, when the projector has a close one-on-one relationship with people or a small group environment. Now, it doesn't mean that they can't do one-to-many, but it's really this high touch mentorship that's going to really probably make you feel more fulfilled, right? It's also things like system refinement. This is going to be a place that feels really good for you, and thought leadership, all right? Because you can see the efficiencies. You can see how things can be done better. The needs, you're going to need to be recognized. You're going to need energetic spaciousness, and you like without a doubt, projectors need a support team, whether that's through AI or that's through an actual team. It's really important that you have support within the business. Now, the trap is forcing visibility. So if you try really hard to be seen as a projector, then you probably will not receive the invitations that you need to receive to really create growth, success, recurring revenue. Okay. So you got to let go of working like a generator, got to let go of overgiving, and really focus on developing your wisdom because that's what people want from you. So your purpose lens, you're really here to be seen and to guide others. All right. You can see how they can tweak, do better, a bit more of this, a bit less of that. You don't have to hustle to lead. It's all about guiding. All right. So reflectors in business, it's all about wisdom, mirroring, and cyclical flow. Okay. So happening over time. Your signature is surprise, like, wow, that was an amazing use of the potential energy. Awesome. Or disappointment. I could see so much more potential for that energy. It just didn't happen. Okay. This is how you know when you're in alignment and when you're out of alignment. An aligned business for a reflector looks potentially like slow launches, intuitive services, one-on-one depth, or community curation. It's really like it's going to depend on the people that you're around. It's going to depend on how, environments make you feel. You will get depleted by a lot of people's energy. However, you will also be able to piggyback off a lot of energy as well. So it's all about how those people, places, and opportunities make you feel to really know what is correct for you in your business, and that you need the ability to ebb and flow and change as you need to. In your business, you need to have the freedom to listen to your 28-day cycle. You need deep alignment with the environment and your, as I said, permission to change when you need to change or pivot. The trap is mimicking others, okay? So when you mimic others, that's probably come from rushing decisions or staying in the wrong environment and being like, well, I should do this or I should do that. Remember, your barometer is how the people, places, and opportunities make you feel. When you feel good in those places with those people, then you're going to pick something. Or I must say, after listening to the HDX Reflector business panel, something will pick you that feels really good. Okay. So your purpose lens, you're here to reflect back what's true. When the space is right, you become magic. It's like you become the walking mirror of potential. So what is it that you want to reflect back out in the world? And that's going to be decided by the people, places, and opportunities you surround yourself with. Okay, so your type is just a jumping off point. None of this is going to be true for everyone, but what I do ask is this is an invitation, okay? This is an invitation for you to start working with your energy to really discover, okay, am I actually listening to myself first before deciding what strategies to apply to my business? This is a really great place to start, okay? Ultimately, what you want to do is you want to stop going external first. Stop looking out there to everyone else that has what you want and start listening on the inside. What feels true for me? What do I have energy for? What am I obsessed with? Projectors, what are you obsessed with? What do you want to improve upon out there? Because you feel it in here. So when you start to get to know yourself more and more, and that's at all levels of your design, this is where you're going to start to build an aligned business. And ultimately, remember that you don't even need to understand your type as long as you know your strategy and authority. Because once you follow strategy and authority, then you're going to find the correct business. You're going to find what is correct for you. But it's super fun to go into all the areas of your design. So there it is. I would love you to go out and start experimenting. Look at your business. Is this aligned with your type? If it is, fantastic. If it's not, maybe you start experimenting. Maybe there's some other things that have come up while you've been listening that you can experiment with. Super exciting times. I want you to create a beautiful, aligned business that you can work less, live more, and have a great impact. And of course, recurring revenue. We all want recurring revenue. All right, then. I trust you got what you needed from today's episode. Thank you so much, and I look forward to having you on the next one. Bye for now.